Okay, so this is the art panel, pretty much the same deal as we're trying to do every year. We have a few more people than usual on stage this year. I'm Ben, the art manager. You've seen me here quite a few times already. And we have also Willem, who is from the 3D artist team, Ausger, the art director, Sven-Björn, the art producer, Birker, who is a principal artist, and also now the art director for the IP development team. So working also with other projects than just EVE Online, the client. We have Ludwig, a concept artist, Kasper, also from the 3D team, and Steve at the end, who is the lead of the graphics programming team. So we're representing a bit across the board all the members of people who do art and visual things. And that's we couldn't have everybody on stage, but I wanted to just show you a bit all the faces of all the people that are behind what we do. So here it's basically all the team that do the arts and also the graphics. It's a mix of concept artists, 3D guys, technical artists, graphics programmers, and the QA agents as well. So that's basically all the guys that make what you see when you play EVE. What we're going to be showing you today, we're going to discuss a few things, and of course having some things to show is a bit what we've been working on lately. I mean, you've seen a lot of the stuff that we've been doing in the a bit more distant past until last winter, and now we've been working mostly towards the summer expansion that is coming soon, Odyssey. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, we've been working on general graphics improvements. We've been doing work on asset enhancement. Some of it is redesign, for example, and also a lot of things that are linked to the graphics programming work that we do these days. A few new assets. We're going to show you a preview of a few new toys that you're going to be playing with in Odyssey. And we're working on the effects as well, and quite a bit of UI work that we've been doing. The UI team is separate from the art team within EVE, but more and more throughout this expansion, and we really want to push that a bit further. We're interlacing a bit more the work of the art team with the UI guys, so we want to unify even more the whole visual experience when you play. So we're going to show you some things, and then of course a bit later the mic will be open, so you can come and congratulate us or complain or bring up ideas, everything you want. It's all good and all open. Some of the redesigns we've been working with, here is one of the latest one. The concept actually has been worked on for quite a while already, but it's something that we had a bit on the side, like a lot of the redesign work that we do. It's an ongoing process, a side track, which is not always linked to features or specific expansions or anything like that. And the crucifier is our last victim. We did quite, I don't know, Ausger, if you also, or anyone on the stage, if you have any comments on that, but we can also discuss it with the questions later.
We actually changed the crucifier a lot. We're not going to do that with all the redesigns, but we felt the crucifier wasn't that important aesthetically, and it needed a lot of change, so we made that one symmetric. Don't worry, we're not going to make all the EVE ships symmetric.
We have some preview of it, actually. This is a bit more detailed concept, so yeah, as you can see, the style has changed quite a bit. And one thing that you can notice on this piece of concept art is that they are kind of separate parts to the ship, and something that we can preview a bit in a video now. I can show you a bit of the blockout, the working progress of the model itself. So that's the stage it's at right now.
As you can see, it has very aggressive shapes, and we're trying to make some of the armor ships a little bit more militaristic and aggressive.
And one of the things that we also try to include in the ships that we redesign is potential for the future. We try to future-proof them. And one thing that Ausger and the team have been working quite a lot around is to have also specific animations on the ships. that could be linked to specific states or triggered by specific events or moments or things happening around you. And here we have a small preview of an ID that we had for the animation of the ship itself. So even if it's not something that you can enjoy right now, it's there, it exists, it's in the box, so it's about linking that to something that justify the animations and makes sense in terms of gameplay and the whole experience and so on. And that's something, again, that we've included actually in some of the ships that are already out there.
I think most of our redesigns have something like this included, though not active.
It might be little things that change once you go into warp, or maybe later on big things that change when you're like targeting ships and going into combat.
Another one we've been working on is this guy. We're not going to show you any picture of that right now, but you can spend an entire hour looking at that tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Stefan Gennerman, one of the 3D artists on the team who has been working on this specific one, will be doing a whole presentation, not only about the new version of the ship, but the process and how we went through tackling both the design and also the production, you know, the process of it through the concept phase and the 3D and so on. So if you're interested in that, you can go tomorrow at 3 o'clock in Multiplicity, and you will have a full hour of 3D porn. Besides this, the redesign, we've been working on what I could call the new toys, which are more assets that are linked to features and things that is linked to the upcoming gameplay of Odyssey. And we've been working on different things. That's one of them. I'm not going to go, and we're not going to go too much into the details of the gameplay around it and what it is about and what you're going to be doing with that. I think that some of it will be previewed in the EVE keynotes. But that's one of the brand new assets that we did there. So it's going to be out there in space, and you will be able to play with it and do things. One thing that we've been doing and using by building it is also trying a bit different things and different visual approach. As you can see here, quite a lot of work on the dirt and the damage of this specific asset. So that's something that allows us also to experiment a bit.
And that's supposed to be a really, really old ship, and it's dust has, you know, gathered on it through the ages, and it's like an archaeology thing.
Yep. And that's the original concept of it. When we started to build it, we decided to start by kind of a pristine version of it, like how it was being pristine before it got old and damaged and full of dust. So we took it all the way and made the concept of what the ship would have been in the past before it was this old thing hanging around. So we thought we would just share that with you as well, just for the eye candy. Another thing that we've been working on for Odyssey is some of the hacking structures, and those are also part of the gameplay that you will be able to enjoy soon. And those are also, we're not going to develop much more about the gameplay around it and their functionality, but those are brand new assets as well that we've been doing. And that's a preview of it. This is a work in progress. There is no full visual effects on it, and this is just something that we frapped a few days ago, and it's a completely work in progress, but we wanted to show you actually an in-client version of it. And graphics improvements, something that we're also working, and that's even more work that is mixed with what the graphics programmers do. That's something that is maybe more general and affects many different type of assets. We've been redoing some effects for the Stargates. I don't know if any of you had a chance to see a preview of that already, but it's also work in progress, but we've been working on the gates themselves and their look and their purpose. We wanted the look to reflect more what the gates are and what they actually trigger in space. And they're not just a hard surface structure floating out there. So that's a preview of the Kaldari one. It's not final either, I think, Ausger, is it?
No, not completely.
We also redid the jump effect. Of course, jumping between systems until now has been experiencing a nice black screen in between and things popping up, and we really wanted to change that, and that's one of the things that we redid. I don't know if you want to say a word about it, or if we just show the...
Yeah, I mean, we, of course, a lot of that will be covered in the keynote, but we have been working on, for Odyssey, on trying to improve that transition or in the immersive part of it. So we wanted to really make it feel more like you're jumping between systems and not servers or like having this black screen fade out. So a lot of that, these improvements, I think you have to show it first. Just
we
it's
can
an
skip it
experience.
also. No, okay, that's right. So you get a preview of the min-motor gate effect as well there.
So I think
I'm going to try to show it again because there actually there is the effect itself, of course, that is in there, but there are a couple of other things that you can notice. For example, the part about the alignment of the camera before you jump, and also at the end of the jump, you've probably noticed a scanner effect that goes around space and then shows a couple of things there. So it's a bit, it's not just about the jump itself, but the whole experience around it.
and we really wanted to feel now that you're just traveling between, you know, in the same universe, in the same kind of places, not, you know, having this loading bar pop up in between and kind of tearing you out of experience.
And as you can see, you already see the nebula of the other system you're jumping in. And still, that's without the sound, of course.
Yeah, I heard the sound today. It was amazing.
Yeah. That's the galante at the end. And I know about it, I'm French. We've been working also, we have quite a lot of things to show you around the UI. Like I said at the beginning of the presentation, we've been working much more in direct collaboration with the feature teams that do work that involves redoing or doing some new UI. And we had some concept artists working dedicated to that directly. One thing that you've seen probably also that you noticed in the jump video is the radial menu there. I don't know if Ausger, you want to elaborate a bit on that? I mean, those are like visual exploration, some of the concept we did there.
Yeah, we're just working with UI people, and this is really vision we are giving. It's not like 100% usability always. So what you end up with is often a little different than what we do as a vision. But these are some of the ideas, and I think we have now a mixture of them in game or coming up.
Another thing we've been working directly on is also the UI around the hacking, and that's part of a new feature, a new Odyssey gameplay that is coming there. And I don't know if you want to elaborate a bit on that, Oskar. I mean, those are not at all final designs. We just gathered really some of the concept art, like the general visual style that we were thinking about for that. So none of it is actually what you will be seeing in game, but it's more the concepts of it.
But you'll be seeing a lot of elements from it. Again, this is ended up in a similar way as the radial menus. We took different things from each of these concepts, and what worked best from a gameplay point of view was put in it. The style will be a bit, if you go back one, will be close to this.
We worked also on a bunch of icons linked to that. And that's just a little preview, just to show you a bit what's coming. And the scanner. Maybe you want to say a bit more about the scanner, Oskar? That's also something that's been changed quite a lot and improved. And you saw a little preview of it in the jump video there. But the idea with the scanner really is to integrate, and again, those are also very much like visual explorations, so none of it is the final thing. It's just like we try different shapes and color palettes and things like that. So
it's a bit more subtle now, since you have to see it all the time. But we ended up with something close to this, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's very close to this. Of course, we're still working on this. It's one of our big features for Odyssey, for the team, and but it shows the collaboration between art and UI now, and kind of how we're trying to merge them and work together on delivering aesthetically pleasing UI features.
And a lot of work also directly with the team working on user experience. The idea here to have more the information and the visual experience integrated into each other, so you don't have always things that rely on specific windows and that are very separated, but trying to integrate the whole experience and making it both a pleasant visual experience and at the same time giving you all the information that you're looking for.
Yeah, of course, much of the stuff that we're adding is, eye candy with little the UI experience part comes with all of these things on top to really make it, usable and immersive for you as a player.
That's a bit of a conceptual view of what the scanner represents, really. This kind of sphere around you that would be completely scanned, and you're in the middle of that and see from within, really, on your overview, the result of the scan there. Another thing we've been doing as well is extremely conceptual, so nothing of what you're going to be seeing now is something that you should expect as such or even soon. It's just really the type of work that we've started to do much more in general, not linked to specific features or specific functionality. It started a bit also by, as you can see here, not only exploring ideas around UI, but going even further, for example, for the hangar, in that case, of what could it be if it was different from what it is today? And Oskar, maybe you have some words for that?
Yeah, the hangar there is kind of like how I always envisioned the hangars to be, more like huge skyscrapers or something, and the ships are in between, and you could see some of your other ships as well, possibly. This is us just going crazy with the vision, for the UI in the future, and I don't know when it would be possible, but yes. And as I was saying to Benjamin today, there are certain, Eve is really old, and there is a lot of stuff that we need to, always fix and renovate, but now kind of for me the UI is the holy grail. It's something we have to dive into.
That's also another part. So we have a few slides here, which is, and that doesn't exist. That's just like some digital painting that was done, you know, for its own purpose. This one is more of a like solo version of the.
Yeah, we thought of maybe you'd have different modes depending on what kind of activity you're engaging in, and that would be combat or PvE possibly, and you see. Yeah, that was thought of like a fleet commander overview, and then a tactical overview next, I think. We might.
Okay.
And something more industrial like mining would have this.
Yeah, now we wanted also with Odog, it's been 10 years, and so we decided, and there is nothing fancy in that. We don't use all the fakery and the tricks that the guys doing the trailers, for example, use. But we wanted to put together a small video about the second decade, basically, doing the jump between the first one and the second one. So we just have a few minutes of what we remember of Eve and what it is today. Yeah.
I remembered it so dark and realistic in the past. It's different. Brick.
Thanks. And when putting that together, and we really did it, I mean, as you can see, it's shaky and so on. We did it by hand, really trying to go around and find some interesting sites. And we started to realize, even though we work by small increments very often, what a difference it has been over the past few years from those two different universes. It's hard to believe that it's the same thing in a way. But of course, it's not all, and I don't know what happened there. It's jumping. Here are just a full list of bullet points, also things that maybe you want to explain a bit, Ausgerd and Svenbjørn. I mean, all of you guys there, the things that we want to do to take what Eve is today even further.
Yeah, I think one of the things we really want to work on, and I think we've spoken about it before, is that, the lighting and shading and rendering of Eve, we really want to, take that next step in that. And of course, V3 was the first, or is the first pass towards that, and with the V3 project, moving really nicely along, and with all the shapes being done now in Odyssey, we're starting to think about, like, what can we do now? And, secondary lighting, what DX11 will give us in terms of that also. Maybe Steve, you can go a bit deeper.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is going to be DX11. There's a lot of features and small ideas we have that will help with this, make it a lot better. We will have a lot of point lights and well, tessellation. I'm not promising anything big about tessellation, but it is a feature that we are looking into. And yeah, this is going to be a big transition to DX11 from DX9, so you guys should stay excited.
Yeah, definitely. And then it's just simple things that we want to do to change between solar system, like having the suns actually, when you're at the sun, that it, really burns your ship. It looks like it's really illuminating your ship fully, and when you're like further away in the outer edges, that, it becomes darker. Maybe have the sun, take the color, that the ships actually take the color from the sun, like tinted a bit. So, you notice when you jump between systems that the lighting changes a bit, because, yeah.
And maybe one thing to point out, that a lot of players feel that we've been making the chips darker, and they're getting too dark, and this will probably tackle that a lot. If not, we will, keep on tweaking the shaders. But we want to do this first before we do any dramatic changes to the Ammar shapes or specific, factions.
Yeah, work on the, underlying systems, and everything is kind of balanced, and, work on the HDR again, and all these systems.
And that's also some of the points. I don't know if some of you went to the graphics programmers roundtable earlier today. There was quite a discussion about those specific topics as well, which was about customizing the ships, for example. That's again something that is linked to the V3ing of all the assets in game, also things that are linked to DX11, and there were some discussions about the damage effects that we were prototyping, for example, and different type of textures, having basically more visual variety and not being as stuck for each specific race or if each specific asset with a defined style that is completely locked. So there are a lot of things that we can do, and it's very much integrated between both designing the assets or redesigning them, the way we make them, and the way they are rendered, of course, with the graphics programmers' work behind it. So.
Yeah, I think, and just effects. We're also starting to work, as you saw with the gates now, when we V3 the gate, we're starting to add like more effects, and with the capital ship also just, force fields, all of these things, that we're adding on top of it now once we've V3'd both the ships, and they get a bit more, love. They shine a bit more.
I don't know if some of you saw the Dust keynote yesterday, but there was a word that Kjartan was using, which is verisimilitude, And I really like it. It's really the idea that it's not about being realistic, because you can't really be realistic when you're designing something that is so far in the future, but it's about making it believable and something that you accept as such when you see it, because it makes sense. And that's something that not only through the design, but through all the effects and through the renderings and so on, that we can push always further and further to make those things more real, really. That's the idea there. And that's it. So if you have questions, complaints, songs, a little dance.
Hey.
Thank you.
One of my biggest gripes for you guys is that if you have a female avatar, every single article of footwear that you have access to in the game pushes the back of your foot up like a heel. And even when they're not wearing feet and they're walking around barefoot, they're like this, and it looks ridiculous, and it seems very strange that you would limit somebody who is presumably in a military or combat situation to wearing something that isn't lending itself to that when every other article of clothing lends itself to that. What's up with that?
Sven, maybe you want to explain a bit. I mean, it's linked to animations, to whether
It's linked to
where we build the
animation.
skeleton. And
It was just a limitation of the system that was made with Incarna. Of course, it was about height and when you can reach, and like if it's kind of out of our hands right now. But it was a limitation at that point.
Yeah, why can't they be like the men's feet? Why, the male avatars don't have that problem. So how is it a limitation if the male avatars don't have this hover thing?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was a design point at, with some specific clothing items and like, it wasn't really us that decided that. So I can't like give you a concrete answer, but that's kind of the answer I can give you. Sorry.
Okay.
I like the idea where you have like the distance of light. This is just a spitballing idea. Could you maybe have like if you're near the sun, your hull starts to glow. You start to get like a heat effect off the hull of the ships. Do you think that'd be possible? Just spitballing an idea out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit
Great
close
idea.
to some of the ideas that were discussed this morning when we were talking in the graphics programmer.
Yeah,
But, I mean-
we are looking into a lot of these on-chip effects, like damage effects. Does a laser, when it hits a shield, does it hit the armor? Does it hit the internal structure, so you can really see this?
Hmm.
You can really see what happens on your ship. We're going to work into that direction.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Hello, I'm probably one of the few players from Nullsec that plays with all graphics turned on and at the maximum because I really enjoy what you're doing with the game. The new jump effect is really, really cool, and I would just like to have some kind of similar effect when we're using jump bridges, Titan bridges, Sino beacons when jumping capitals. Is that in the plans as well?
Yeah. I mean, of course, we want to get rid of all loading bars, basically. So, any time you jump between systems, you would be going through some kind of transition.
Thank you very much.
Hi there. I just had a quick question. On the Fed Navy Comet a while back, one of the things it was famous for was the blinking light for the police car gangs. Any plans on bringing that back in the future?
The thing about the Comet is it's a Navy Comet. The original Comet was, if you looked on the side, pre-Trinity, it said GFPD. It was part of the Galente Police Force. There is an actual Galente Police Force faction, and that Comet is present there. It's just not a player ship at the moment.
Fair enough.
But in the future, we might put that out as well.
Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Yesterday at the Retribution Roundtable, there was a question about having higher resolution textures on the ships, and it's told that it was possible to do it as an optional download for not increasing the client size for all. And they told us to come bother you guys about it. So now I'm bothering you guys about it.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
poking, yes, keep poking so we can do it. It's all there.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
it's
definitely
ready.
looking into this, like make it an optional download through some kind of torrent, and then you copy the big files into the folder, and then you get the high resolution textures. But it's going to be a big download.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
I mean, when we do all the texture work on assets or even the nebula and things like that, we work them at higher resolution than what is in there, of course. Plus, it's uncompressed, so we could.
Yeah, I mean, we have almost all of our assets in 4 times the resolution. I mean, they're shrunk down when we put them into the client. Of course, there's just we have to make sure we can get it to you in a safe manner and that it doesn't crash your computer, or that you can switch it off.
Well, people's computers are constantly getting better and better, and there's people playing with so much hardware and running many accounts that it should be pretty possible to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and from the art standpoint, we really want to do that. It's not us saying no, we don't want to give you quality.
The devs at the roundtable, or the roundup, asked about the audience, and everybody was standing up and so on. So it's there's people who are really want to have it in game. So.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a growing group within CDP that really wants this too.
We have no excuse, not one. And I hope whoever can make the decision is in the room.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope the next one has the same question too.
Hey guys. I remember back in the days when I started playing, I got my first Merlin, and it was a tiny ship, and my buddy's APOC was as big as the moon, the biggest ship you could have, and it was awesome to just see the grandness of it. Now I walk around in the station, and my big ships look so small, and I see a Corp Titan parked in a POS, and it feels sort of tiny. How do you go on about trying to make the space feel large again? From a art perspective, how do you try and make things look larger and grand again?
If you mean inside of the station, the hangar view? You're talking about that, or just in general?
Not only that, but how do you make big ships look bigger? And do you think about those aspects when designing this stuff?
Like capital versus battleships, or
yeah, exactly.
The sense of scale.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the V3 versions on CC.
Sorry, come again?
If you've seen the new V3 versions on CC, we try to add more effects to them, they have more blinkies and more things to try to represent scale. But of course, we haven't redesigned, one of these capital ships yet, but, I think we would think about some, manner to do that once we come to that bridge.
All right.
And one of the reasons why you don't get the sense of scale and awe is that you have to zoom out a lot. You guys like to zoom out and see everything, and it kind of ruins the feeling of scale, at least in space.
Yeah, my Merlin is now a bigger ship, so I guess I feel larger as well. So, thanks.
Kind of in the same vein of the jump effects, do you guys have plans for when you undock from a station to do the same thing?
Yeah, it's not the same effect. There's not a jump effect.
Right.
We have
same type of
we're
thing.
doing a similar thing. I mean, there's I don't know if you saw it in the video, but there are lights go off and it tries to warn you that you're about to undock. But I think, we will always fade out there though. We will have a fade to black in that case.
Okay.
At least in the near future.
Yeah, at least in the near future. Until we do a redesign of the hangar, probably. Yes.
Okay. But if you're talking about in general having smoother transitions between different things within the game, it's definitely something that everybody here has been thinking and talking about and working on. And the jump is one of them, one of the first thing to do, but yes.
Okay, also high resolution textures.
Yes. Hello, awesome job by the jump effects. Jump demo was awesome. But do your plans include if 100 other ships are jumping at the same time, bridging, how would it be to look at the other ships while they're jumping, and how would it look like if you arrive before the other guys, and when they come out of space, and is all that included in your ideas?
Yeah, I mean, you only see the whole opening at this point. Like, you see the whole opening in space and you go through it. That's not the view from other people. They will still see, just like normal, you see the gate go off, but now it will always be a little bit on, so it doesn't like really turn off like in the old one.
But you'll see your friend's ship shoot toward that hole.
Yeah. The same hole as I'm using, or?
No, you don't.
Of course, where are you from?
Yeah. No, you don't actually see their hole.
Good. What a beautiful last answer. We're going to have to free the room soon. We're not going to be late like the previous one, so the next session can start in time. So thank you very much. I hope what you saw was inspiring and fun.
Thank you.
For those interested, there is also an art panel, an art round table this afternoon, right? Another one, and there is then the redesign of the Apocalypse tomorrow at 3, so don't hesitate to go and have fun in those as well. Thank you.
Thank you.